Mini enthusiasts, how are you doing? Welcome back. I hope you're well and I hope you're having a great day. Hopefully it's not too late to say it. I don't think it is anyway, but just Happy New Year to everyone. Hope you had a great festive period and thanks for your support in 2023 and I wish you all the best in 2024. So in today's video, we're back on the Racing Green. We're going to be starting the big part of the reassembly. So actually this part is quite slow because every single piece gets taken off, refurbished, cleaned up, made sure it's okay before we put it back together. However, I am at that point where I'm looking at the car now and I'm thinking to myself, it's 90% done now. It's all solid. I just really need to assemble it now and get the car painted. Just an update on that because a few people have asked actually. So I am going to paint the car myself. I'm not a professional painter at all. I do bits and bobs and actually Mark is much better at painting than me, but I'm sure he'll give me some guidance as we go through. But I just want to do it for the pure satisfaction of having restored the whole car by myself, including paintwork. At the end of the day, if it all goes wrong, I will have probably wasted a couple of £100 in paint. It's not a complete disaster. I've already got all the kit to do it and everything like that. So the plan is actually to wait for the weather to get a bit milder. So we're in January now, but I reckon by the time I've finished faffing around and getting all the other bits built back up and put together, it's probably going to be about March time and hopefully there'll be a few mild days there. I can get the garage all cleared out and yeah, get on with painting it. So what else is coming up? So there will be a few updates on the Cooper S as well. So strangely enough, the Cooper S, which Mark has been restoring for the last, I think, couple of years actually, is very similar stage to the Racing Green. When I'm looking at the videos Mark's producing, apart from the Cooper S is fully painted, it is just a case of reinstalling it. Mark's pretty much at the same stage, putting the subframes in, running all the wiring and everything like that. So there'll be some updates coming up on the Cooper S as Mark gets that car ready for this summer. And there'll probably be some midweek updates. So that's great news for you and hopefully some more content for the channel as well. The next big thing coming up though is Bingley Hall Mini Fair. I try to do it every year. I'm booked in this year, I've got my tickets, I've booked my hotel. So I'll be going up to Bingley Hall Mini Fair on the 28th of January. There'll be some other YouTubers up there as well. So hopefully we can do a get together, a YouTubers meet and greet or something like that. It'd be nice to see some of you subscribers up there. So really looking forward to that. And finally, probably the next biggest expense I need to do on the Racing Green actually is the interior. So the seats in particular. So the car has the original seats from John Cooper garages, which were an optional extra. They were quite expensive back in the day. I think back then, in the early 90s, they were at least £1,500. So they're, from memory, they're Corbeau GTS recliner seats. They're quite rare and just a really nice finishing touch to have on the car. So I'm going to use a recommendation from one of the subscribers on the channel and hopefully they'll come out really nice, but I don't expect them to be cheap. I think it's going to be quite a big expense. So anyway, let me stop waffling on. Let's get into this week's video, start getting the car rebuilt. And just lastly, thank you very much for tuning in every week and watching the videos. I really do appreciate it. Let's get this Racing Green finished and then what next? Watch this space, you'll find out soon. Cheers. Right, so quick recap a few days later now. The paint is still looking absolutely fantastic, super glossy. It still looks wet, I can guarantee you it's not wet. It's been a few days since that was painted. But that lacquer I'm using, it's a U-Pole clear coat. It wasn't particularly expensive, it wasn't the most expensive, but it certainly wasn't the cheapest either. But it comes out beautifully. It gives a really good lacquered finish. Seems to be quite hard wearing as well. And I can't really fault it. You'd have seen when I was spraying that DeVille gun, I was using a 1.2 tip for the lacquer. It comes out super fine. It almost comes out like a fog and it just lays on beautifully. I've got this area of reaction to sort out. So what I plan to do there, having thought about it for a few days, I'm going to leave that a couple of weeks till the paint's fully cured. I'm then going to DA back this area, and I'm not going to paint it. I'm not going to bother mixing up paint, getting the spray gun out, because it is all a bit of a faff doing that. Never tried it before, but I'm going to order up some 2K aerosol. So you can buy 2-pack paint in an aerosol, and I'll give that a go. Just, yeah, something for the channel really. I've seen other people using it. It was Marcus Haynes, I watched a video of his the other day, and he was using it and got fantastic results with it. I'm really pleased with the bits up the side and everywhere else. Really, I can start reassembling the inside of the car now. Getting some bits back on. I've got silent coat as well, so I need to silent coat the inside of the car. We'll do that as well. But for now, I think I'm just going to start getting a few bits back in. Right, although the reassembling is fun, I've got to say, it is the slowest part, because you end up, literally it's down to checking each individual wiring and doing repairs as you go. One big thing I have done though, so I need to put the wiring loom through the bulkhead. One thing I'm disappointed about actually is I never covered up under here properly when I've done any of the other spraying, so it's all covered in overspray. Luckily though, because it's 2K paint, I've literally just wiped that over with thinners, this top half, and it gets most of it off. If you look like on the inside of these wings, they look dull, and the subframe actually, it was all powder coated as well. But I think a quick wipe over with thinners and we'll be okay. So I need to run the wiring loom through now. I can't remember whether I said on the video or not. I did buy a brand new wiring loom. So here we go. I bought it from Mini Spares. I can't remember how much it was. I'll insert the price somewhere. It was about 270 quid, I think. But I think it was the right thing to do. No faffing around with bodging up wires. It's all going to be spot on. So I need to get that wiring loom in. I need to get the top half of the sound insulation in. And then it will be things like the pedal box. Steering wheel is quite important. The steering rack back on and the steering column in place. Make it much easier to manoeuvre around. But yeah, that paint's still looking fresh as anything under there. Like I say, just a bit of overspray on it, which hasn't been too bad to get off, to be fair. Right, so I've got the loom there. God knows what goes where. I've got half an idea actually. I haven't worked on minis for years. It's pretty straightforward, to be honest. Probably the worst bit though is that small hole up there. That whole interior, the bit I'm holding is all the interior loom. That has got to go through that little hole up the top there. So you have to kind of start with the biggest connector first and get that through, or the biggest connectors, and then work the small ones through without damaging them. So let's see how I get on. Bit of patience required, I think. Right, so that's the new loom run. It's tricky, it's a bit fiddly, but if you're careful, take your time and patience, it's not too bad. I've just got it loosely where all the wires need to be at the moment. Like I say, it's pretty easy to work out actually. That's obviously all part of the engine loom. You've got for the fuse board up here, both sides. You've got to connect up all these connectors up here to the interior loom. Luckily the interior loom was in good condition. Things like the indicators. I've also gave that all a wipe over with thinners to get any overspray off, and then just tried some demon shine on it, and it's all looking good again. On the inside, like I say, strategy is always put through the biggest plug first. So with this it'll be this, which I think that's dim dip relay, I think. Put through the biggest connector through the hole first, and then work from largest to smallest, and it'll all go through. And then again in here, roughly sort of just put where I think they go. So they're all the centre console switches. That's the loom for the instrument cluster. And then we've obviously got the rest under here, which are ignition, brake lights, heater. And Kieran, I think it's Kieran, asked me ages ago about what colour wire for the heater. And I did think I'll be at this point where I've got to work it out at some point, so when I've worked it out I will let you know. But yeah, it's probably taken me, I don't know, and it's only half hour, 3/4 of an hour. But so nice to be working with a brand new Loom. Right, quick update because I've been doing loads of stuff. I think I did mention I'm going to do the silent coat. So just a couple of quick little tips on silent coat. So it's definitely worth doing if you're going to, got to this point where you've taken a load of the sound deadening off, like I have where I've welded in new floor pans and that. You've got to put something back because otherwise it will just be really noisy. So silent coat is only part of soundproofing really. It cuts out, can't think of the name of it, but high pitch frequencies. For rumbles and things like that, you want a different type of soundproofing, which is usually, if you get like the carpets on the car, they have like underlay on them, that acts as a part of the soundproofing as well. So silent coat on its own is not the total solution, and you don't need to cover the whole car on it, contrary to what you see a lot of people do. I know sometimes it looks really whizzy to do all of the floors and everything in silent coat, but it's very, very heavy stuff. I don't know how much a pack of this weighs, but it's got to be 10-15 kilos. And I'll probably use most of that pack, and that won't be covering every inch. So the stuff I'm using is 2mm thick. So there's 20 sheets of silent coat in there. But yeah, you're just adding weight. But to what you want to do is when you're going around, you'll know if something needs a bit of sound deadening on there just by giving it a tap. So I've obviously done most of the parcel shelf just because what I created here, where I welded in this big hole here, it actually bowed outwards. It is like, it's like one of those Caribbean drums. I could probably tune it up and play a Caribbean tune on there. What they call kettle drums. So I've put lots of silent coat on here, and thankfully that's all sounds pretty dull now, but before it did really ring. Like I say, I think I made a bit of a kettle drum. So lots of silent coat on there, and just give you an example, like the roof. So the roof is really echoey. That could do with silent coat, but the headlining in this car is pretty good, and I don't fancy taking it down, so I'm probably just going to live with that. It won't be any louder than it was before. It's always been like that, but obviously they don't sound deaden the roofs very well, and it's a very big panel. But on the back here, just to give you a little example, so I've done the back behind the seats, and again, this is all nice and dull now when you hit it, but it's just going round. If I go right in the corner, listen to this. So I do need to carry on there and probably do this corner as well. Probably do the inside of the arches, and also door bins. Obviously can't do the outside because they're cosmetic, but can certainly do the inside of the door bins. Right then, I'm probably going to leave it there for today. I've got bits everywhere. Like I say, this stage assembling takes so much longer because you've got to clean everything up as you go, do some repairs on bits as you go. But today's works, I've been out in the garage probably 5-6 hours today. So I've got all the silent coat done. I've not done this bit because this is still the original soundproofing on the car as it is on the base of the seat. I think it's, if you can leave stuff original, all the better, to be honest. But obviously where I've had to weld and where we've got like new floor pans in, I've obviously put silent coat in there. I don't go into the channels there because it just will act as a water trap there. They're the lowest point, so I leave them blank. And again, like I say, you don't have to cover every square inch, although to be fair, I say that, I've covered a fair old amount of that. We've got the top bulkhead insulation in now. I will just say I traced through that wiring harness and then had to pull it back through again to get the bulkhead insulation in. So that's in, got the loom in place now. Things like chrome trims on the rear door bins. Really pleased with how this door bin come out. that was such a big dent in there. And I've put silent coat inside the door bins as well. So yeah, aside from the roof, which like I say, I don't really want to do because the headlining on this car is very good. I do not want to pull down the headline. But yeah, we're making progress quickly now, aren't we? Oh, and under the bonnet as well. You know, I had loads of overspray. Well, you know me. I like things to be as good as they can be, so I got the DA out and I used cutting compound on that to bring it back to a shine. Again, under here actually it's going to have bulkhead insulation up this top part, but even the subframe's looking good now. I actually got the DA out on the subframe as well to get it back to a nice shine. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed today's video. It's bits and bobs really. It will be for the next, I guess, probably few episodes, just finding bits, putting back it. I mean, I've lost bits, like I've lost the pedal box at the moment. I can't find the pedal box anywhere. I need the pedal box so I can put the steering rack in. Don't know where it is. I'll find it eventually. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, remember to give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber here, please do consider subscribing. If you want to drop me a comment, I'll read all the comments. Thanks for your support, and I'll catch you again on the next one. Cheers, have a great week.